Okay, imagine this. You've just shelled out for like the ultimate home cinema setup.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you're finally getting that home recording studio going.
Right.
You hit the main power switch. You're expecting just, magic, pure audio-visual bliss.
Yeah, the big reveal.
But instead, BOP. A horrible noise from your speakers. Or maybe worse, just a subtle flicker you barely notice. But it's actually stressing your extensive gear.
It happens more than you think.
Exactly. The reality is, the stuff we don't see, the electricity itself, can be the biggest problem. Or, if managed right, the silent hero.
Well put.
So today we're doing a deep dive into one of those unsung heroes. It's a device designed to sort of tame that potential chaos.
Right.
It's called the WolfPack Rack-mount 10-outlet AC power sequencer conditioner.
It is a mouthful.
It really is. But it's
Yeah.
a perfect example of this specialized tech that solves very real, often kind of invisible problems, especially in complex AV setups. So our mission here is to really unpack what this thing is, what it actually does, and why it's so important for anyone with a serious home theater studio or even just a packed tech rack. Okay, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So to really get a handle on this, let's break down that name piece by piece. WolfPack Rack-mount 10-outlet AC power sequencer conditioner.
Okay.
Let's start with rack-mount. What does that signal right off the bat?
Okay, so rack mount is pretty key. It tells you straight away. This isn't your average power strip you just, tuck behind the TV cabinet.
Right.
This thing is designed for professional, organized installs. It's specifically a 1U unit.
1U.
Yeah, 1 rack unit. That's a standard height measurement in equipment racks, about 1.75 inches.
Okay.
So it fits neatly into those standard racks you see in, like, server rooms, recording studios, serious home theaters.
Gotcha. Where everything is stacked nicely.
Exactly. It keeps everything secure, tidy, connections managed. It's about integrating properly into a system, not just providing power outlets.
Yeah. Right. Definitely signals a more serious and organized approach to your setup.
Yeah.
Okay, then we have 10 outlet AC power.
Yep.
10 outlets. That seems like, well, a lot. What's the real benefit there beyond just plugging in 10 things?
Well, the convenience is obvious, right? 10 plugs in one spot.
Sure.
But it also means all those connected devices draw power from one common controlled source. That helps prevent things like ground loops.
Ah, the dreaded hum.
Exactly. Or other power-related interference that can just mess up complex systems. Think of it as creating a little dedicated power ecosystem for your gear.
Instead of plugging things in all over the room.
Yeah, which can introduce all sorts of variables and potential issues. This keeps it contained and controlled.
Makes sense? A unified power foundation. But I think the really interesting part, the bit that makes it worth a deep dive, is that next word, sequencer.
Absolutely.
A lot of people probably don't even know what power sequencing is. It sounds simple, but you mentioned it can actually protect a whole setup.
Oh yeah, it's crucial and often overlooked. Power sequencing is just turning devices on and off in a specific order, with little delays between each step.
Okay, so not just hitting one big on button.
Right. Most people flip a switch, everything jumps to life at once. But think about a complex audio system. If everything powers on simultaneously, you can get these nasty power surges within the system, especially hitting sensitive things like amplifiers first, or you get those really loud, jarring pops from the speakers.
Yeah. The worst. Like someone just kicked the speaker cabinet right when things get quiet in the movie.
Nearly takes you out of it.
Yeah.
So a sequencer prevents this. For example, it might turn on your source components. First, your streamer, your Blu-ray player.
Yeah.
Then, maybe a second later, your preamp or processor.
Right.
And finally, after those have stabilized, it powers up the big power amplifier.
Ah, so it's staggered.
Exactly. Each piece gets a moment to settle before the next one comes online. We tend to think of surges as coming from lightning, right?
Yeah, most.
But honestly, a lot of the cumulative stress on gear comes from these internal turn-on surges. It's like tiny little zaps every time you power up uncontrolled. It degrades components over time.
Wow. I never really thought about that internal stress.
Yeah, and the same sequence happens in reverse when you power down. A graceful shutdown, no pops, no stress.
So it's not just about avoiding annoying noises. It's literally extending the lifespan of your expensive equipment. That's actually huge.
It really is.
Okay, and the last part of the name, conditioner. What does that mean? What's conditioned power?
Yeah.
And why is that so important for, say, high-end audio?
Right, power conditioning. It's all about clean, stable power. Think of the electricity from your wall outlet as Well, sometimes it's not perfectly smooth.
Okay.
It can have electrical noise interference from other appliances, maybe fluctuations from the grid itself, little spikes, little sags. Think of it like static on a radio line.
Right. Dirty power.
Exactly. A power conditioner acts like a filter and a stabilizer. It cleans out that noise, smooths out the voltage variations, and delivers a consistent, purified electrical supply to your gear.
So it's more than just a basic surge protector filter strip.
Oh, much more. It's actively filtering out that electrical hash, correcting minor voltage dips and swells. Without it, especially for high-fidelity audio or video, you might be introducing subtle hums, buzzes, maybe visual artifacts, things you can't quite trace.
Things that just make the quality less than perfect.
Precisely. For sensitive gear, clean power is absolutely vital for getting the best performance. It lets the equipment operate the way it was designed to at its peak.
Getting what you paid for, basically.
Exactly, rather than just functioning.
Okay, so we've kind of unpacked what. This WolfPack thing is clearly way more than a simple plug strip. It's like a command center for your power.
That's a good way to put it.
But the real magic, as you said, is how it does all this. Let's peel back another layer. Let's talk specifics, the features. It mentions 10 independent switch conditioners. What does independent switches give you that's different?
Okay, the independent switches part is really about granular control. So you have 10 outlets, right?
Yep.
Instead of them all being tied to just the main sequence or one master switch, you can often control each outlet individually.
Okay. So I could turn just one thing on.
Exactly. Maybe you're troubleshooting, you want to isolate a component, or maybe you just want to fire up the projector for a quick check, but not the whole audio system.
Right, without having the amps warming up needlessly.
Precisely. You can decide, outlet by outlet, if it's part of the power-up-down sequence or if you want manual control over it. That level of flexibility is super useful for managing a complex system efficiently.
Yeah, that sounds really practical. And that leads into another feature listed. Pro Audio Digital Power Supply Controller Regulator. Whoa.
Yeah, breaking that down.
Pro Audio. First, it suggests it's serious about sound quality.
Absolutely. That label means it's built to meet the really high standards of professional audio environments. Places where any hum, any buzz, any interference from the power line is just unacceptable. It degrades the sound.
That makes sense.
Then, Digital Power Supply Controller Regulator. That's not just jargon. It points to how it manages the power.
Okay. Digital versus analog.
Kind of. Think of it like this. An older, maybe simpler analog regulator might react to a voltage dip after it's already happening. There's a slight delay.
Right.
A digital controller can be much faster, much more precise. It's constantly monitoring and can make microsecond adjustments. It actively anticipates and corrects tiny voltage fluctuations before they even reach your gear's sensitive circuits.
Wow, so it's proactive, not reactive.
Exactly. It works to maintain that clean, stable power flow constantly. It's like having a really vigilant guard watching the power lines second by second.
That sounds incredibly reassuring for expensive gear. And speaking of watching, it also has a voltage readout. Why is that important? Just seeing the number.
Well, having that voltage display right on the front panel is actually very useful. It's like a little dashboard for your incoming power.
Okay.
You can see in real time what voltage your system is actually receiving from the wall. This is your early warning system. You can spot problems like brownouts.
That's when the voltage drops too low.
Yeah, exactly. Like when your lights dim when the AC kicks on. Those dips can be surprisingly tough on electronics over time. Can cause weird behavior or premature failure. And conversely, you can also see if the voltage is too high in overvoltage situation, which is also damaging. Just knowing that your power is stable, seeing that number steady, gives you a lot of peace of mind.
Yeah, that visibility is key. It's something most of us are completely blind to otherwise. And of course, you'd expect this, but it includes a surge protector.
Absolutely critical. That's your main line of defense against the big sudden problems.
With lighting or power grid issues.
Exactly. Or even big appliances switching on and off in your own house can sometimes cause spikes. These surges can just instantly fry delicate electronics.
Yeah.
So having robust surge protection built right into the unit that's feeding everything is non-negotiable for any valuable setup. It protects everything connected downstream.
Makes perfect sense. And just a small practical note, the source says it comes with extension cables.
Ah, that's thoughtful.
Yeah, just a little thing.
Yeah.
But it means you're likely good to go out of the box, not hunting for extra cords immediately. Shows they considered the setup process.
Nice touch.
Okay, so we've got the what and the how. Let's pivot slightly to the practical stuff, the specs, and maybe the bigger picture around this unit.
Okay.
For anyone considering something like this, The specs confirm it runs on 110V to 130V. So, standard US power comes with a US plug.
Good.
The material is listed as alloy, which sounds durable, professional looking for rack mounting.
Yeah, you want something solid if it's going in a rack.
And importantly, it clarifies without battery. So we need to be clear. This is a conditioner and sequencer. It's not a UPS, an uninterruptible power supply. It won't keep your gear running if the power goes out completely.
Right, different job entirely. This cleans and manages the power. A UPS provides backup power. Important distinction.
Definitely. And if you're trying to find this exact model, the part number is TD428A HDTV. UPC is 79313285 long 144. And the price listed is around $150.
Okay, so that puts it in context. It's not cheap like a basic power strip, but
Yeah.
considering the cost of the AV gear it's protecting.
Exactly. $150 to protect thousands of dollars worth of equipment, plus ensure it performs its best. Seems like a reasonable investment.
Yeah, absolutely.
And looking at the company, HDTV Supply, they've been around a while, right? Source says certified since 3.2 in 2003, 24 years in business.
That's a long time in the tech world, especially AV.
It really is. That kind of track record suggests they know their stuff and they're stable.
Right. And if you connect that to the bigger picture, the source material mentions they're rated as an exceptional, top-quality store by Google Shopping, and they promise good support and fast delivery. That context matters. It gives you confidence you're not buying from some fly-by-night operation. Also, WolfPack and WolfPad are their registered trademarks, which shows they're invested in their own brand identity.
Right. They're building their own line of specialized gear.
Yeah, focusing on these kinds of AV solutions.
That's a good background. And it's interesting to see the related products listed, too. It sort of shows where this sequencer fits in.
What else is there?
Well, other WolfPack power strips, naturally, but also things like rack mount kits, specifically for Apple TVs.
Ah, neat.
Dual HDMI splitters, these things called HD-BASE rack mount enclosures for extenders, even dual 7-inch HDMI displays designed to fit in a rack.
Okay, yeah. That paints a picture, doesn't it?
It really does. It shows the complexity of these professional or high-end enthusiast setups. Everything's designed to integrate, often within that rack system.
Exactly. And a power management unit like the sequencer becomes foundational. It's not an add-on. It's part of the core infrastructure for making all those other specialized pieces work reliably together. A high-performance system needs that solid power base.
So, wrapping up this deep dive, it seems pretty clear. The WolfPack Rack Mount 10 Outlet AC Power Sequencer Conditioner, still a mouthful,
Still is.
is way more than just a fancy power strip. It really is a sophisticated guardian for your expensive AV gear.
Yeah, guardian is a good word.
It gives you control, protects against surges, cleans up the power, all to make sure your system sounds and looks its best and lasts longer. It's that sort of invisible conductor leading the orchestra.
Perfectly put. And, digging into a specific tool like this really makes you appreciate the engineering that goes into reliable tech systems.
Right.
These components are what make the whole setup work seamlessly, protecting your investment, ensuring you actually get the quality you paid for. It makes you think about all the little things working behind the scenes to prevent those pops and hums.
Yeah, it really does. And that actually brings up, I think, an interesting question for you, the listener, to think about. Consider all the electronics in your own space. Not just maybe a home theater, but computers, smart home gadgets, maybe even kitchen appliances. Everything runs on power.
True.
Now, we focus on this specific AV device, but what if more of our everyday tech could benefit from this kind of precise power management and protection?
That's an interesting thought.
Like, what kind of unseen damage or just inefficiencies might be happening in your own setup? Things may be running a little hotter or performing slightly under par or just degrading faster than they should. All because of uncontrolled, maybe slightly dirty power.
Yeah, could you be getting less performance or lifespan out of things without even realizing it?
Exactly. It's definitely worth thinking about that hidden power infrastructure in our lives and maybe what the benefits of optimizing it could be. Something to chew